The Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. With Ultra in the title, you expect big things. But the Ultra for this phone isn't what you can see, it's the ultra fine details that end up making the difference. This is our full review of the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel. The Z Fold 8 Ultra. By all accounts, it's a modest upgrade over the Z Fold 7. But Samsung have decided to slap that Ultra name on it, even though many people are arguing it's not Ultra. But I think where you need to understand where this Ultra name is being used is in relation to the Fold 8 lineup in general. Samsung introducing the base Fold 8 has kind of made room for an Ultra variant, and by default, this one being the one above it, it becomes the Ultra version of the Fold 8. It's got a bigger battery, it's got more cameras and better camera hardware, and it's got bigger displays both on the front and the inside. But to be honest, the Ultra title of this Fold 8 isn't down to those things in particular. It's the ultra refined experience that you're getting now. The hinge, Samsung have redesigned it to have it be a much smoother, more natural flowing experience from closed to open and back again. And now that you've got some new technologies that are kind of securing the OLED panel underneath them, it means that the crease has been further decreased of visibility, and it also appears flatter and feels flatter than it's ever done before. All of those things definitely make a more enhanced foldable experience that feels ultra. Samsung also took on the feedback about the Fold 7 being hard to open. It's actually been a lot easier with the Fold 8 to open the two halves of the display thanks to the gap that's been put in here, which means it's not going to be slippery and difficult to open. They're just noticeable refinements that your everyday usage, it adds up and makes it more ultra to use. The inside display on the Fold 8 Ultra is expansive as ever. It's got all of the big size and canvas opportunities that the foldables have had before, and it's been made better thanks to the refinements Samsung have made here. The 3000 nits of peak brightness has been one of the most noticeable changes over the usage period because of the fact that outdoors and the bright sunshine that I have here in Australia, you definitely feel that when you're in cafes or in outdoor environments. That extra bit of brightness is very noticeable. And I think what goes along with that extra brightness is the anti-reflective properties about it. It just feels like a step up because you don't get the distractions that you maybe used to get with the very reflective inner displays of previous foldables. Whether it be taking photos or consuming media, the display on the inside is just beautiful. I do wish the outside display had it. I can understand why it's maybe not there. They've used a specific type of Gorilla Glass here. But the inside display having it is definitely a big advantage and not something I'm going to complain about. The foldable cameras are something that a lot of people have complained about over the past few years, especially on Samsung's. They've kind of always nerfed the camera hardware in favor of the folding experience. Last year with the Fold 7, Samsung made their mainstream fold line have an ultra flagship camera. The 200 megapixel camera from the S25 Ultra went over to the Fold 7. This year, that ultra experience is expanded with the 50 megapixel ultra wide camera from the S26 Ultra on board here with the Z Fold 8 Ultra. There's still the obvious disappointment of the 3x telephoto, which in all honesty is almost a complete waste of time. It's basically clinging on for dear life at this point. This isn't a Fold 8 review, but I did compare the Fold 8 camera at digital zoom to the 3x physical zoom here on the Z Fold 8 Ultra, and the Fold 8 actually did better, produced better results, produce better detail. It just kind of makes you wonder what the point of this 3x camera even is anymore. But the thing is, if you focus on hardware and specs and numbers enough, you can get yourself down and get yourself caught in a bit of a loop of these aren't good enough. And honestly, it's just not the case. They still take pleasing photos, even if the main camera didn't get the update to the f1.4 aperture. You're still getting that large sensor, you're still getting all the good detail. It's still good. And the form factor means that you got the best selfie camera experience on any of Samsung's smartphone lineup. That rear cam selfie and the main camera will take the best selfies you can get on a Samsung smartphone, hands down. And that's ultimately what the flexibility of the Fold 8 Ultra gives you, is that advantage of the form factor. Having access to said rear cam selfie plus capture view mode on the inside means that you've just got a really unrivaled software experience that matches what the form factor is capable of. But for me, the biggest advantage of all of them still is flex mode. There is something so satisfying about putting the Fold in a half flex state and then just using it to capture the world around you. Except I noticed something different with how it works this year. It still goes into a half flex state, the software still forms around it, but there's now just a certain point where it will actually topple over rather than allow you to capture things. And I just don't think that's good enough, because it doesn't matter what flex mode stuff you're doing, there's going to be a point where it will fail. Whether it's consuming media and you want to adjust the angle to have it point at you a little bit more, it will just fall down, which, depending on the surface you've got the phone placed on, can be a bit of a concern. Now, whilst they've had to do that to make sure the hinge supports the reduced crease, there's one thing that they've done that has definitely increased functionality, and that's performance. The internal components used in here is where Samsung's, I think, made the most strides forward for a foldable. The Fold 7 physically was near perfect. The thinness, the lightweight design, pretty much had it nailed down, but it was let down by poor battery, and well, the chip was good, but the battery was just the biggest letdown, both in capacity, but also charging speed. The increase to a 5,000 milliamp hour capacity here has been very, very noticeable. The standby time is exceptional, and then you factor in the charging speed on top of that. The 45 watt is definitely a nice upgrade to have, especially since I've been using the 65 watt on the S26 Ultra this year. It's better to have a much closer charging speed to that because of how much quicker it can top you up, but then the longevity gets played in, and you've got a really compelling battery and performance package on here. Samsung didn't go crazy with it. They obviously could have risked it more with a bigger capacity silicon carbon, but the fact they've got silicon carbon in here is a good step forward, and you definitely notice that capacity increase as you use it. The thing is about the performance, it's one of those things where you can sit there and talk about performance of benchmarks and gaming, but it's a flagship chip in 2026. We all know it's going to perform well. We all know it's going to be efficient. We all know it's going to be powerful. All the Galaxy AI software that Samsung have put on here, it gets enabled by this chip, and then all the performance stuff like the camera, APV codec, all makes its appearance thanks to this chip on board here. You know it's going to perform well. It just is. And I think that also plays into Samsung refining the operating system. One UI has just gotten better and better and better as time has gone on. Ignoring the Galaxy AI upgrades that continuously get added, it's all about the little things, the fluidity of animations, the customization of things like the quick panel, which got added with One UI 8.5, means that Samsung can just do more. And then you add in the foldable software on top of it, and the One UI 9 package that sits on here is very compelling. It makes the usability of this phone really nice, and I think Samsung can continue that when they launch One UI 9.5 and then One UI 10, and it's just going to keep evolving. And I think where we're at now, you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised with where Samsung's foldable software sits. The thing with the Fold 8 Ultra is it kind of has a lot to live up to with that Ultra tagline. It's not got a fancy new shape to lean on like the base Fold 8 does. It's got to rely on what's worked in the past, that regular smartphone on the front, which then unfolds into a tablet on the inside. It also doesn't have the biggest numbers in the foldable industry. Samsung don't match with things like the Xiaomi foldables or Huawei or wherever else is out there. They kind of just stick to a formula that is progressing them slowly, but also not taking huge risks. And that means it's not perfect. But genuinely, what smartphone is perfect? There isn't a smartphone you can point to out there right now that is perfect. It's either the camera's downgraded compared to a slab, or the S Pen isn't supported, or the battery's not quite as big enough as it should be. There's going to be compromises everywhere you look on a smartphone in 2026. It's just about which ones you can settle for, and then what phone provides you the most complete package. And I think from a foldable, Samsung have kind of nailed it here. You've got a regular smartphone that's as close to a regular smartphone as you're going to get in a lightweight, slim package that then unfolds into a tablet that has the most expansive screen that you can find probably on a phone this shape. Sometimes you just need to appreciate the little steps that are taken to progress us forward. And I think that represents what this Ultra foldable is. Little steps forward to take us to our next destination. Hit subscribe to SamMobile TV to check what's next. Go check us out on our website, sammobile.com, and also go and find us on all our socials. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.